Rainy, soggy day today. So I've been watching a couple of videos the other day, and it's raising a few thoughts in me, musings, and also I'm feeling into the irritation that my soul is feeling about anything related to, the what we read about Jesus or what we read about Essenes. A friend was talking to me about the Essenes and such things, and I felt this extreme irritation with it and wasn't quite sure what it was. And there is no logical explanation. It's vibrational. It's transmitting to me in a strange way to my soul. Something my soul wants to convey to me. And I think this is going to be so hard. I'm going to try and articulate this elusive feeling. But I think what is annoying me about all of these stories, and the miracle stories of Jesus, how do I say that? We tend to compare ourselves to what Jesus is reported as doing, right? And naturally, the ego would want to imitate that, replicate that. And this is not a process that can be achieved through the intentions of ego. Like one of the videos I was watching from a friend, in which they said, healing happened everywhere Jesus went. But we see only the end result of his journey, after 30 years. We don't know about anything of his life, of his stages, of his initiations, his hardships in the other years, the other periods of his lifetime, where he, as the scriptures say, he learned by the things he suffered. And he suffered the same egoic clashes, conflicts as we do in our daily life. And so for him to become the healer that he was, it's not that he was born with those qualities. It's an outworking that came about through his lifetime of clearing his shadows, clearing the resistance, of anything in him that would create the resistance, and that is coming from our ego. So what irritates me is when we always call back to those stories and refer to those stories. You can't become that, and you're not that. You have to live your own life now, resolve all the resistances that show up in your life to become someone like Jesus, to become someone like the Essenes. It's not something that you can imitate. And that's the problem that I'm trying to articulate. We draw upon the stories, and it is human nature, it's ego's human nature to try and imitate what someone else did. And imitation is never going to do it. We're not meant to imitate or copy that which was done in the past, in history. But you have to fully Make your present life your priority. That is the only story that matters. Putting your focus squarely with you and disregarding history, disregarding the stories of other men and women that lived the life of the mystic. Because if you regard their life, you're trying subconsciously to imitate them. You cannot be an imitation. You have to be your original. And an original does not have a copy or imitation out there to compare with. So your life doesn't have to match or compare with anything that happened in history. Your life right now is the unique, original soul energy that you are meant to express uniquely and not become a carbon copy of the Essenes or of Jesus or of Mary Magdalene, those characters in history. You are meant to write a different story, an original story, not an imitation, right? And I think that is that gnawing, irritating feeling in my soul. My soul is saying, hey, disregard them stories, disregard those lives. They are not important. If you give them importance, you're just trying to be like them. You cannot be like them. You can only be yourself. And yeah, so that's what I think is going on here in my heart center and in my consciousness. That's trying to tell me, don't encumber yourself with the stories of other people. Stay focused on your story. Write your story, live your story. Explore your own story. Explore your own consciousness. That's where it's at. And so, with that being said, I know of the stories. Some of that might be interesting, but it is irrelevant to what my soul is being in this present lifetime. So, this might sound egocentric, but it's not egocentric, it's soul-centric when I say I am the only important person in the present now. And the same is true for every individual. You are the only important person in this present now. Not your ego, but your soul. Your this undefinable, ineffable self that you are. That's what I'm talking about.